it's easier for you to embrace humanity when the common thing is the music and not your judgment. Really
Yeah.
My parents are from Alabama, and the Baptist church is like the person said. It's like their belief in the church is greater than their belief in the Constitution. And my parents are old school. But the funny thing is, they came here, they lived here for a lot of years. Then my dad got sick, and they moved back to Alabama. And I seen like, we studied Black history in our family is kind of important. So all the stuff they went through and all the stuff that went on through Alabama, it amazed me they would actually go back. And not only did they go back, but they went back and became a part of a white church. They're like the only Black family in the church, which kind of twisted my mind. I'm like, I don't understand, like what. I want to be real profane right now, but I'll keep it clean. Like, I don't understand what was all that stuff you were teaching us? What was all that you were telling us? It's like I don't really get it. But that's one thing. So I understood what this dude was saying about how he would feel about going to a Baptist church in Alabama, because that's one of the biggest things is you cannot be gay. You cannot be, whatever. That's a whole other story, right? But, so I understand what the dude was saying. Another thing is, what people don't understand is that Dr. King, like the young African Americans are saying, well, it's not right because you're coming over here and it's a civil rights movement thing, it ain't a gay rights movement thing, blah, blah, blah. But what those young people don't understand is that Dr. King was a very strong advocate for gay rights. He worked with the gay community the whole time he was working for civil rights. He was also working to advocate for gay rights. And I think that gets lost or it doesn't get brought out, or it's not something that's a well-known fact. But Dr. King himself, I mean, he wasn't the only dude, for civil rights, but he became the face, like he became the puppet for civil rights, right? But what isn't talked about is that the civil rights and the gay rights have always been hand in hand, always been side by side. The civil rights just took more precedence. They got more coverage.
Can I ask you what your parents said to you as their reason when they went back home?
Bro, I didn't even ask them. I was like, okay, whatever. We don't really communicate that well to begin with on good terms. So, but I just couldn't really wrap my mind around like, and my dad was like one of those super strong, angry Black men. Like he lived through a lot, right? And he wasn't a hugger, he was a gun-toting, weed-smoking, alcohol-drinking, street-fighting, angry Black man. And now you're going back to this white church, and like you're part of the church, and like you're like, I'm a deacon, and like you're proud of it. I'm like, bro, whatever, bro. I couldn't fathom it,
Is it because like majority of people in Alabama are white?
I agree with you. Yeah, Blacks are still a minority in the U.S. no matter what state, right? But there's whole Black communities in Alabama, and it's not all ghettoized. Like people have like the people say they think all Southern states are like, oh, we're all rednecks and cousin fuckers. Sister and brother, we all intermarry and we got buck teeth and we still drive big old trucks with shotguns, you know what I mean? But that's not true. And the same with Black communities. Not all Black communities are ghettos or hoods and impoverished and poor and smoking crack. So there are a lot of affluent Black neighborhoods in Alabama that he could have been a part of.
Oh, so it was a choice.
It was a choice.
Has anybody been in a chorus in their life here or when they were younger?
Major chorus.
What was that? Could you share some of those experiences or what role that had when you were that age?
When I was in college, I went to a school that the whole school was a choir. So we sang every day together. And choral music is just super, super powerful. And when you think about, they have 300, I think they have more than 100 maybe 200 people singing together. It's amazing. It's very transformative. And then when I was young, I grew up in a church, so I sang in the church choir. But in college, we got to sing really serious liturgical stuff, and yeah, it's a life-changing experience. It's very, very powerful.
It seems like for a lot of kids, like their first experience with music is usually in choir, church setting. It's interesting.
Well, the school is trying to do some, because singing is actually the cheapest way you can learn music, right? You just open your mouth. You don't need a fiddle, you don't need to
Expensive instrument, yeah.
It's very inexpensive. It's actually no cost to anybody, and you just have to be willing to open your mouth. So it's a great thing to learn. For sure.
Any other comments or? Yeah.
There was a plot line with the fellow with cancer, and I thought that they're gonna take it somewhere, like there would be like a conclusion, but like, oh yeah, I'm going to chemo and something like that. But they didn't have it, and I was like,
Oh, like a follow up at the end.
yeah,
Say,
I was like, what happened to him? I don't know. Damn.
because I think he said his surgery got pushed up. Was that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the healing part was meeting his family, and they came for him. I think that was more of a message
Yeah, maybe
in this event.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just one more thing. I met that dude who's the leader of the choir. I mean, I didn't meet him, like, we didn't conversate, but a friend of mine was in that choir. And that dude, that's exactly the way he is in person. The way he talks, the way he jokes on stage, because I went to some of the concerts, that's exactly how that dude is.
So cute.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the lady here said that she recognized her minister,
Oh, wow.
but I don't know which one. She said, I saw her. He's in the film. I'm gonna go tell them.
I like how the Oakland Interfaith group
Yes.
was involved too on part of the Lavender Pen
Beautiful.
tour. Yeah, that was nice to see that collaboration. I really liked how it was just people were so open about their experiences, their feelings. It was kind of therapeutic in a way, you know, with each person's story and going back to their hometowns and being like, there's the school that I went to, and then talking about these traumatic kind of things, but also how they've evolved and, you know, dealt with that. And I mean, just the whole trip of going to the South was symbolic of that, kind of healing from their trauma. And I like the idea of like getting outside of the San Francisco bubble or the Bay Area bubble and actually going to another part of the country that isn't as like sexy or usually like a tourist destination.
I lived in Texas for a couple of years. It'd be different down there for sure. Like
Where'd you live?
Dallas area.
Dallas?
Yeah, it's like a city like satellite in Dallas. But people they have different demeanor, like than San Francisco and large cities. Like the city I lived in was like a small town. And the thing that I noticed is that I think there was someone also like said that in the movie that they have this like facade, this like a veneer of the hospitality, right? But as an Asian person in Texas, it was definitely like, I didn't feel like I belong, but people would still be like, you know, put on like, hey honey, hi sweetie, like, oh, you know, very nice. up front, but then they're also very open about their beliefs, and they will let you know. And I don't know, I think, though it's like, it's, I completely agree with people that were talking about like the Deep South, that they're both things. There's this facade and veneer, and then there is that other side to South where, you know, people actually, like, they are against like the like globalization that is happening in the big cities. Anyways, I forgot where I was going.
Did you get to spend much time in Austin?
No, actually, I have not been there at all. I was just in that area because I don't drive. I didn't have a truck. But yeah, it's
Was the
different.
movie made here? Where's the filmmaker?
I forget. I think the filmmaker's not from the Bay Area, the director at least.
Is the guy still directing? Is it still him? Or did it say that he died?
No, I didn't mention anything about the
Is it still
director.
him?
Oh,
The director.
I don't know, it was a few years back. You mean the choir?
He's still
No,
alive,
he's
right?
still alive.
The choir director?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
the choir director. Never mind.
I think he's still here.
Is he still the director?
I think so.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
How interesting to see the conception of prejudice from both sides in the beginning. Are they going to accept us, or on the other hand, how they're coming here kind of thing. But in the end, it's acceptance and then just attendance and then taking things one step further, you know. First, unknown road, but after that, everything falls in its place, and these things, the prejudice and conceptions doesn't change in one day. So this is kind of such a huge step, one by one, one by one, one by one.
I like how they interviewed the people with the signs who didn't want them, or they, with the Bible quotes.
Yeah, I love that too. They
I think it was
have
good
much to say.
to include, like that, have little conversations with them.
And I think that it shows that people can have different opinions, and you can stand up for yourself. But
Yeah.
you don't have to resort into any kind of violence or, degrading other people. And the fact that I don't know if they actually encountered anything that is unpleasant or negative. It didn't show in the film.
I think they would have included it, yeah.
That,
Because there was that voicemail they listened to in the
Yes,
beginning
yes,
of the
yes.
film that somebody had left.
Right.
That seemed to be one of the few times where it was like explicitly, angry and didn't really want them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm thinking, it seemed like the choir director, like in the beginning, he was anticipating going and trying to be like a rebel, and I'm gonna like face trouble and fight, and like he was really geared up to be more of a troublemaker than he was trying to really spread the message of peace and acceptance. But I think he changed his tone later on as he started seeing people accepting him. Then his tone kind of changed too. He softened his tone. But I think in the beginning he was expecting all this hate and people throwing Molotov cocktails in the bus. Like I think he had that perception, but I think he softened later on.
And the radio station interview, after that conversation, he seemed to
Relax a little.
relax, and he kind of perceived the town differently, and he didn't seem so like expecting trouble or on guard for some kind of hostile situation.
Also, he's alive.
Good.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Well, we have another movie next week called Donna. It's another
Oh,
documentary.
yeah, that's.
So maybe we'll see you all again.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming again. Have a good evening.